Hey there, everybody. It's Mike Cooch. This is a video for my digital agency friends and customers. I'm recording this video on St. Patrick's Day 2020. We are right in the thick of the coronavirus crisis. And I have a lot of people that are asking me, what do I think is ahead? What should their game plan be? And what should their, strategy be for their business? And so I want to go ahead and put together this video and share it in this format so I can get it out to as many people as quickly as I can. And I want to caveat this with, of course, this is just one guy's opinion. We are in unprecedented times. And so I just want to state that very, very clearly, encourage you to absolutely think for yourself and use all the information, all the data that you have that is local to you and real to you to obviously do what's best for you and your business and your family. As I said, we're in unprecedented times. So I do want to say that anybody that says that they have the playbook for success right now is selling snake oil. And it could be perfectly well-intentioned snake oil, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people out there like myself that are trying to, help and try and provide value. And I hope that they don't stop that, and I'm not going to stop that. But these are unprecedented times. I mean, the reality is that we're dealing with a health crisis that is having a massive, massive economic crisis. And that combination of factors and you combine just the world that we live in now in terms of the debt our country has, social media, all of these factors that are all just mixed in this big, pot together that are all playing a part in what we're experiencing and what we're going to experience. It's just completely unprecedented. So to say that, you could have a playbook, I think is completely wrong. There is no proven playbook, okay? I believe that the best that you can do is to think clearly and have contingency plans, okay? I think that is the best that you can do right now, is to try your very best to be able to look at the situation unemotionally and make unemotional decisions and have contingency plans based on what I call triggers to help you make those unemotional decisions, okay? I think of this very much like I think of a business turnaround situation, where in a business turnaround situation, you need a manager who can look at things very realistically and operate with very unemotional decision-making framework, okay? If I'm running a business whose cash flow hits certain numbers and certain ratios, then that will trigger me to take certain actions, period, end of sentence, okay? So you've got to look at your business and kind of life in general, your personal financial situation, all that stuff. I believe in the same way right now, which is you've got to know your triggers, and then you've got to lay out what your plans are based on those triggers, and then stick with it, because your emotions have the potential here during this period of time to be running completely wild. And, your emotions play a really important part, but they don't always serve you in the way that they need to at the times that they need to. So have clear thinking, contingency plans, and triggers to help you make decisions, I think is critically important. The other thing I got to say is I think it's critically important that you stay on offense, okay? And what I mean by that is that you need to be pushing as hard as you possibly can for growth, for achievement of your goals, for putting the plans in place that you think are going to best serve your business and your family. This is absolutely no time to expect anybody else to take care of you, not your mama, not the government, not anybody, because this is new for everybody, right? This is, again, unprecedented times. Everybody is kind of winging it here. You got to acknowledge at the highest levels of the government, no matter what you think of this politician or that politician, nobody's gone through this before. So you need to take control. That means that you need to be on offense. You need to take proactive steps every single day to put yourself and, again, your business and your family in the best position, okay? It is absolutely not the time to go into total defense, okay? This is not the time to just put your head in the sand or throw your hands up and say, it's out of my control, the economy is going in the tanker. That is the absolute worst thing that you can do right now, I believe. I think that you have to stay proactive and stay on offense, okay? Now, I think the most important part that we need to do first is we need to acknowledge reality, okay? And there's a few different parts of acknowledging reality here. One, the numbers that they're talking about in terms of people losing their jobs in a very, very short period of time is devastating. I have heard 1 million people in March. I've heard another 1 million people in April. Any of those numbers, anything close to those numbers is frightening. And that's just here in the United States. These are U.S. numbers that I'm referring to here. And I know I have people who watch this video all over the world, wherever you're at. I apologize. I don't know your numbers as well. You need to kind of localize this. But in the United States, millions unemployed in a very short period of time. I can tell you here in San Diego and in many other cities, all the restaurants, all the service businesses, everything, they've all been closed down essentially overnight. You are seeing lots of people lose their jobs very, very quickly. And unfortunately, those jobs tend to be people with no safety net, right? Those are people who are really, truly just paycheck to paycheck. And so you take away that paycheck and it's not 90 days from now, I'm thinking things are going to be better. It's literally I don't know how I pay rent. I don't know how I put food on the table in the next week. That has the potential to cause a lot of problems, and I don't want to get into any doomsday scenarios or anything like that. But if you imagine that many people without any income, without any savings, and I know already here in San Diego, you go down to the grocery store and it's starting to get hard to find stuff. The social consequences of that can get really bad really quickly. The biggest impact on all of this, again, because if you're watching this and you're an agency, most of you are working with small businesses. Unfortunately, the biggest impact on all of this is the small business economy. You're business owners and you work with business owners, as you very well know, many of them are living paycheck to paycheck, right? I mean, if they have to turn the lights off on their business just for a few days, that can mean that they don't have the ability to make payroll, to make rent, any of that stuff. Businesses are already being told you're going to be down for at least 2 weeks. I am personally expecting it's going to be much longer than that. 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, that type of thing. We're talking months. There are many, many, many businesses that will not survive that. So it is reality that if you are working with small businesses, there's going to be a lot of small businesses that are just suffering. And you got to understand they're not suffering in the ways that a lot of them were suffering before, which is, poor mindset, not willing to take action, not willing to be accountable. They're suffering in ways as in the government said you can no longer do business, but you still have, that rent, that lease to pay. You still have these employees that are expecting things. So it's a different kind of problem that they've never faced before. So you've got to be sympathetic, empathetic as much as you possibly can to that scenario. Okay, acknowledge reality, part 2. This is driven by a health crisis, and it's so incredibly important that we understand that. And whether or not you think it's overblown, any of that type of stuff, I don't even want to argue that in this video. The reality is it is driven by a health crisis that is causing upheaval and panic, which is leading to a financial crisis. So what is really unusual about that you have to really just deal with realistically, is that it will not end until we have that under control. So all the financial stimulus stuff that our government would normally do, if the stock market tanked, if a big company defaulted, all those types of things that we normally have, these powerful levels at the government level, the Fed level, banking, those I'm not saying that they're not going to have any impact, but what I'm saying is that if you can't leave your house and the businesses can't open and, yada, yada, like all the big high level stimulus stuff that we normally do and quantitative easing and all that type of stuff doesn't really have the same impact, right? Until we have the health crisis under control. So that's a really important factor that is unique to this situation that you've really got to keep an eye on to try and determine, okay, when are we going to come out on the other side of this? I believe personally, and just looking at the data as much as I possibly can, to not lead anybody astray, not to be too optimistic and not to be too pessimistic either. I think that the very best case scenario is that that's months from now. The reason why I say that, you look how long it took China to get under control, but China had it isolated and they could bring in the full power of a communist country to just take over, take over people's lives, take over military style lockdown. Most places don't have that capability. In America, that's impossible pretty much. And it's certainly impossible now that this virus is widespread. I mean, we're all over the place. We literally don't have the resources or manpower to do that kind of lockdown everywhere that you would need to. So if you look at the time that it took them, if you look at the fact that Italy has been locked down for weeks and their numbers are still growing, and then you take into account the reality that the United States has not been testing yet, still. As the time I shoot this video, we're still really not testing. I believe that there is a hidden massive number of cases that are about to come out as soon as we do start testing. And the very best case scenario is months from now, being able to take advantage of that. And, I hope and pray for some sort of miracle. We figure out a medical solution, a drug, whatever it is, the sun starts shining and it kills the virus. But even then, I still think that the best case scenario is months from now. Now, the really big factor in all of this that I think, again, dealing with reality is that saying you've heard, when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. Okay, what does that mean? It means that the world relies on America for our strong economy. Okay, our economy, the president is now acknowledging, and economic advisors certainly are acknowledging, is tanking at a rate that it's really never tanked before. That's going to have a global economic impact in ways that, if you've lived in the United States your entire life, you don't really understand how much other countries depend on us for the trade, because we buy so much, because we travel so much, all that type of stuff. That then is going to trickle down to all of them, which means that the global economic impact of this is going to last much longer than a few months, right? And we're all so connected now. I mean, you saw something happen in Wuhan, China, and next thing you know, the whole world is shutting down. We're all connected. So when it flows downhill, not flow downhill in any sort of derogatory way, sorry about that, but the trickle down economics, the reality is that there are going to be a lot of economies that are going to do very, very poorly, and that is going to make it slower and harder for everybody to recover. It's just going to be a longer process. So I really believe, again, I'm not trying to be a doomsayer, but I think it's just realistic to expect that this is going to last much longer than a few months. Okay? So that all being said, I think that is reality. You can have your version of whatever that is. I would just caution, if it's too much more optimistic than my scenario, I just really think you need to research the data and figure out why that is, and that you're not just looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, just to make sure that you're conservative in terms of being prepared. Okay. So step 2, then, we've got to know some triggers. Okay, what are some events that could happen that could change the trajectory of this in a pretty big way, and could change the trajectory in terms of you and your business strategy and your financial strategy. Okay, so first one is, am I right is Mike right? And over the next 2 weeks, do we see an explosion of numbers in the United States that causes a whole new degree of panic about this? And I believe that we are going to. I believe that we're going to start testing later on this week at a bigger scale. The numbers are going to skyrocket, and it's going to scare the living shit out of people. And I think that that's going to create a whole new set of challenges for us. So I hope to God I'm wrong. Believe me, I hope this video, I get mocked for this video because I'm so wrong. But that's a really important trigger, because if that happens, you really got to tune into, okay, what are the decisions being made at the government level, and how does that then potentially really extend this thing out, right? So really got to pay sharp attention over the next couple of weeks. The next trigger is, when can retail businesses open again? Okay. At some point or another, we're going to get far enough along in this that from a medical perspective, from a health perspective, they're going to say, okay, we can get back to business. Restaurants start opening again. Bars start opening again. Salons, all that type of stuff. Let's get back into the full swing of doing business again. When that announcement happens is a major, major turning point for anybody in the agency business, because that's a whole bunch of new businesses that are going to be coming online that are going to need help fast. Okay. Now, the challenge is, what percentage of those businesses open back up? How long does it take? What financing do they need? And are they able to get that? Like, there's a whole bunch of things to pay attention to in that, but that's a major trigger. Third major trigger, I believe, is how much cash is the government going to send directly to people in the United States. Okay. I'm very pleased to see that this is being talked about right now. This is the time I record this. They have not announced that anything is getting done for sure, but the plan is on the table where they are going to send people money directly. I think that that's incredibly important for all of us. And I've never been like a big advocate of, universal income or anything like that. But what I understand right now is that here in San Diego, and you extrapolate this out, we've got a whole bunch of people that have, no safety net and now have no jobs. Tax credits, delay filing your taxes, none of that stuff. Quantitative easing, buying bonds, at the treasury level, none of that stuff matters to those people, right? They need money in their pocket today, and there's nobody out there to pay them anymore. So they got to be able to go buy groceries. You've seen in Italy has stopped all mortgage payments, all personal bill payments. I don't know, if we get to that or not, but I think that you've got a lot of people now that are going to very, very quickly be in a situation where, they're going, what the heck do I do? If our government will send money directly to their accounts, I think that gives us all a great big boost in not letting this thing slide downhill at a nightmarish pace. Number 4 then is, how does your savings and cash flow fit into all of this? Okay, so keeping a very, very sharp eye on what's your runway. Can you, could you have, if you just said all money stopped coming in, okay, what's your runway? Can you survive for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? What is that? Like, you really, really need to know that number, and constantly, daily, be checking in with these other things to think about, okay, how is that impacting that number now? I think that needs to be a constant check-in. When you're running, again, a turnaround business, you look at cash every single day, and even multiple times a day. If you're running a cash-based business like a restaurant or something like that, you are literally watching, okay, how is cash after breakfast? How is it after lunch? How is it after dinner? I think that you've got to have that same mindset. Like, you've got to be checking into your cash flow constantly, okay? So these are 4 major triggers that I believe that you need to use to make decisions on, okay? I think that these are the major factors that are going to determine, does this extend longer? Does it stop shorter? Does it have more impact on my pocketbook? Does it have less impact on my pocketbook? Does it have, take away my ability to get customers? Does it increase my ability? Like, these are, I think, the major factors. The wild card one in here is, some medicine proves to be effective and this whole thing goes away. The sun comes out and this whole thing goes away. Let's all, pray for that. But I think that these are the more realistic triggers that you need to keep a very, very sharp eye on. Okay. Now, step 3, we got to have a plan. Okay. We've got to have a plan. These apply to everyone. I think that if you are in business today and you plan on being in business today, one, you've got to focus on adding value. Content like this is the best way to add value right now because everybody's stuck to their computers and their mobile devices and they're not going anywhere. So add value, particularly through content. Share your ideas, share your experiences, communicate with the world, let them know you're here, let them know you're here to help, and do whatever you can to add value. I think that is just so critically important right now. And number 2, be all over social media. Social media is going to explode. People are sitting around doing nothing but playing around on social media, okay? You want to be all over it. This is the time to be all over it aggressively so that you can try and build your audiences and build your visibility, okay? So no matter who you are, what you're doing, you should be doing those 2 things, okay? But let's create a plan here for a couple of different scenarios, okay? So first scenario here is if you're able to be on total offense, okay? So if you've got the savings and you've got this, cash flow coming in that you can be on total offense, you're like, Mike, like this is one of those periods where fortunes are made. I've got, the money to capitalize here. Awesome. Show leadership and value, okay? Be all over social media, just as I said. But the third big one for you, that variable that you can take advantage of, is use paid media to capture market share. Okay, paid media is going to be on sale. It's going to be incredibly powerful. I'm not saying that you have to expect, if you have the cash, you don't have to expect ROI from it. Just build your brand, build your audience, get people paying attention to you. Because when this thing turns the corner, you're going to be in an incredibly good spot to capitalize. You're going to be one of those people that they look at and go, oh, they captured the market when things were ugly. They bought when there was blood in the streets, and now they're getting the dividends of that. So if you're in that position, that's your plan. If you need to have a more balanced approach, so maybe you got some income, maybe you got some savings, but you're like, Mike, but if this thing rides out as long as you're talking about, and businesses aren't doing business, I'm in trouble. I can't be all out aggressive. I've got to be realistic. Well, still, you're in a good spot, okay? What I would say to you is don't quit. Don't drop out of the business just because the next few months look ugly or the next 4 months look ugly, whatever it is. Again, show leadership and value, be all over social media, and then conserve your cash until we're getting to the end of this thing, okay? Conserve your cash as much as possible until you start seeing those businesses reopen, and then go in. Go in aggressive, okay? Because now you've got a little bit of nest egg that you can spend to, again, capitalize on the discount and paid media, capture some market share. In between now and then, you should be doing everything that you can to show leadership, add value, and be all over social media, doing everything that you can organically to try and build your audience and capture market share and build goodwill, okay? Build goodwill so that when people can spend money with you, they're gonna turn to you because they have that sense of goodwill with you, okay? Now, the third scenario here, look, if you are paycheck to paycheck, I know I have conversations with people all the time where they were telling me, Mike, I need to get that client next month to make this work for me. Look, I'm just gonna shoot straight with you here. You need to pivot aggressively, okay? I really do believe that. I think that it is critical that you're realistic and that you're aggressive to solve your problem, take care of your situation. I think that you should earn income however you can. The dream, which I have complete respect for you as an entrepreneur, and the dream that you have, it will be here waiting on the other side of this, okay? do what you need to do now to be safe, to take care of your family, to make sure you're in a good position. Okay? Option number 4 here, or to do number 4, if you can do it, is build a business with a model and target customers that aren't as impacted. Okay? You may have to just stop the agency thing, okay? Or at least temporarily put a hold on it. I'm a big fan. If you've been following me, I'm a big fan of other business models. This might be the right time for you to go, okay, it's no longer about the agency thing. I need to jump to another model. But look, you've got to be aggressive, because when this many small businesses disappear that quickly, I don't care what, smart ROI driven marketing system or anything like that you have. Again, it's not those issues. The issues are that the government is shutting them down. It's not that they have a poor mindset. It's not that you just need to be able to show them ROI. It's not yet. They're shut down. So if they can't open their doors, it's just going to be a very, very, very hard position for you to expect to be able to go out and sign clients in that environment. Okay? I'm just being real. All right. So if you want to transition to another model, I know the next question is going to be, well, what models do I recommend? Info products, I think, are going to do very well. There's lots of people sitting around on their computers. They're going to be looking for ways to solve problems of all sorts. Okay? I think particularly lower priced information products are going to do very, very well. Okay? Paid communities, paid virtual communities, masterminds, things like that, I think are going to do very, very well. I think they're going to explode. People need connection. It's a human need for connection. So if you can put together a community and add value when you bring people together, I think that you have a really, really big opportunity there. The third one I would say is virtual services that are non-marketing services, okay? As you likely know, I ran an IT management business for 8 years. That business was way, way, way more recession-proof than many other businesses, including the agency business in this scenario. And the reason why is because people need their computers to work, okay? It's more like a plumbing thing. So there's a lot of virtual non-marketing services that you can offer, that you have the talent to get out there and start offering those services. You can do tutoring for kids, tutoring for adults, right? There's going to be kids that are now sitting around, can't go to school. They're going to need education. Their parents need to be able to work. They need somebody else to be able to take care of them for a little bit, even just virtually. Virtual tutoring, right? Virtual teaching, instruction of any sort like that. Supporting computers is another great example. Maintaining websites, so probably not the time to be selling, sexy website makeovers, but there's going to be a lot of people that need, just help with, hey, something broke on here and I need that to work again, or I need this little upgrade, or, I need the new patch put on, that type of stuff. So less big contracted services, more the type of stuff that you sell on Fiverr or Upwork or whatever. You may have to take down your expectations of exactly what kind of services you're offering for a period of time. But I'm telling you, there are major opportunities there, because those types of services are much more global. And there's a lot of businesses out there around the world that need help with WordPress, even if the economy is in the tanker, okay? So, again, there's going to be a different type of services, but there are a lot of opportunities out there. And guys, there are always opportunities, okay? You got to be on offense. You got to keep your mindset in the right place. There are always, always, always opportunities, okay? So on that note, I don't have any offer for you, anything like that, other than I just want to let you know that if you're an agency and you're going to stick with it and would like my help, digitalmarketinglab.io is where all of that happens. My content happens, my offers, products, things like that to help you. I'm going to do everything I can to be adding value during this whole thing. And if I can help you in any way, I would be honored to do it. If you are thinking, man, Mike, I need to pivot, I need to get in one of those other models, leverage.com, LVRG.com is where you will find me in my work on more of those types of models, okay? So if I can help in any way, it is my goal to be eating my dog food. When you see, add value, be all over social media, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing as good of a job as I possibly can of that. And if I can help you in any way, I'd be honored to do that. Okay? Take care to all of you. Best of luck through all of this. Be smart, be aggressive, be on offense. Take care of your health, take care of your family, take care of your business. People rely on you. You know, do everything you can to keep your mindset right and be on offense. And there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, we all know that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. We just got to hustle and get there. All right, take care.